Centaur, your kind of company.
Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association makes position known on the hiring of a mediator. They also tell the media they will not stand down on certain demands. Owner of Caribbean International Brewing Company Limited and finance charged with immigration offenses. And the Sembrando Vida program registration process kicks off in Orange Walk. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, October 28, 2022.
Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamt of going to Mars. You can keep my dream alive.
Come with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave my room, okay? Only for 35 days.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
I met Alex on the plane. When I woke up in the morning, he was so alive.
I think they know you're lying.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Good evening with your news. Also, Samukas on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Will an international mediator hired by both the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association and the Belize Sugar Industries Limited American Sugar Refining, BSI-ASR, manage to break the deadlock that exists between both entities and finally put an end to the commercial agreement dispute? That's the million-dollar question tonight after the BSCFA held a press conference today to clarify 3 points, including statements made by the Prime Minister of Belize, John Briceño, when he announced on Monday that an agreement had been reached for the intervention of a mediator. We start with the first clarification, which also forms one of the demands of the BSCFA to sign a commercial agreement. Over time, it has been said that the BSCFA wants BSI-ASR to transfer $20 million in value to the farmers since the cost of production is hurting them. Today, the association clarified that they are not talking about the transfer of cash. What they are saying is that the time has come for farmers to stop paying for overhead expenses that appear to increase each year. BSI puts these costs of production at some $20 million per crop, but the BSCFA is saying they don't even get to peruse the financial statements of the company.
It's not a matter of transfer, it's a matter of reflecting the true cost that is being charged on overhead expense, where we as farmers are spending 65% of our money on those costs, and those numbers are not disclosed to us in detail in their audit report. So we as the BCFA, if these costs would reflect the true cost and to be set where these costs should be allocated under their 35%, then there will be a just payment for both sides. If that doesn't regulate, we as farmers are going to go out of business. So we are making it clear to the nation that we will not stand down until these costs are the real cost is reflected and be allocated where they should be allocated. Then we could have a good crop, and the industry will run how it's supposed to run. But at this moment, it will take government to regulate, to establish and fix what the past government did, because if that doesn't go, then we as farmers will be phasing out of this industry. That is our strong words as farmers, and we will not stand down until this is regulated.
And that is where the proposed 60-40 value share comes in. It would get rid of the current 65-35 net strip value that sees the BSCFA sharing overhead expenses with the milling company. For the BSCFA, studies have proven that the expenses presented by BSI ASR are exuberant compared to other sugar production countries.
What we as BCFA from day one putting forward, that all those expenses that we don't participate in the process and it's not disclosed to us should reflect the true cost. And I will give an example of that manufacturing allowance. We have investigated strongly in Brazil all about, and that cost to change one sugar to another kind of sugar is around $8 to $10 US. Right now, they are charging $160 for the direct consumption and $150 for the local, right? Local
the local is
$150 and $160. So if these costs should reflect the true cost and should be allocated under what we call the processing, then that is why they are claiming that there's going to be a transfer, because once you reflect the true cost, that money that they are talking will find its place where it should be allocated. All this money was on this side of the farmers, but innocently, I could put it that way, it went year by year, signing over their side. Now that we did a wake-up study, now we find that these costs that are put forward needs. For that is why we ask the intervention of government to look forward on those true costs. Once the true cost is reflected, that money will find where it goes, where it should be allocated.
One of the things that have made us change into this, because we have seen for the past years, since ASR took over BSI, that they have managed to come almost every year in a different tone on putting different services. And each service that they apply is a cost. Each service that they brought forward is a cost. And then what happened? Whenever they put this cost, this comes as an overhead cost. And when they remove that, the balance that stay is what we divide 65-35 with them. So what happened? Whenever the portion of the division comes, if you can see, if you can recall in the information being given before, it comes up to almost 25 to 30% that is removed as overhead expense. So the rest is being divided between us and them. And based on those divisions is where they came out that it's a $20 million value transfer, on which we didn't bring those numbers. What we said, for us and for them, to be fair with the farmers, let us split at the gross, because whatsoever, like us, as farmers, we have to pay for the cutting, we have to pay for the loading, we have to pay for transportation. And that comes under our 65%. So the same thing supposed to happen with BSI, that they have to have their own expense on the portion that goes to them, but they have already intelligent the system on where they take as overhead expense the charges that they want to put, so that their 35% is untouchable.
Today, there are 3 points that impede the BSCFA from signing the commercial agreement with BSI ESR. 1. The length of the agreement. 2. Justified payment for bagasse. And 3. The proposed 60-40 value share. BSI has agreed to BSCFA's third demand, but under certain conditions. That is, that the 60-40 does not include proceeds from the sale of direct consumption sugar. But the BSCFA is sticking to its guns and told the media today it's all or nothing.
In 2017, they came out and said that the investment of $22 million that they will be doing to produce more direct consumption sugar, they said that the farmers will end up gaining $2 to $3 per ton. It doesn't happen. But yet, the farmers had to pay 65% out of that $22 million investment. Now they came back and said that it is not $22 million, it's $60 million that they have invested. And the farmers have to pay. But at the very end, the farmers don't own anything out of that. So we pay for something that doesn't belong to us.
So the farmers are not receiving any type of payment from the sugar sold and the DC sugars, from the direct consumption sugar?
Yes, we can.
Guess what has been the price that you have paid?
If you can see the math, and if you can see the papers, because I have provided you with some of those documents, and you can see what is the difference between the raw sugar and the direct consumption sugar. It's a very small portion, and whenever you remove all the cost that is being done, it ends up that the direct consumption sugar, the farmers are getting paid less than the raw sugar.
More or less an amount that you would be able to say, compared to the $2 to $3 that they said you all would be receiving?
I don't have the figures right now on that.
But it really doesn't add up to you to that $22 million investment that BSI said.
Of course
so
not.
So you believe you all have not even recovered your money as in of that investment?
And we'll never recover.
And if the negotiations don't prove fruitful, even with the involvement of an international mediator, BSCFA says the government must do its job then.
If that would fail, then I think government needs to take their responsibility serious, because this is an industry that is the backbone of the country, and government cannot be sleeping or what I should neglecting that his responsibility is not needed in the table. He has to get up and take the responsibility serious, because this is an industry that will benefit all of us here in Belize. And if that industry would go down, 50,000 plus in the north will also go down. And everybody that depends on it directly and indirectly will go down. So we cannot be playing with this industry, and I think government needs to take his job very seriously. What the past government messed up, it needs government again to fix it up and regulate the industry for the betterment for the industry and for the people that depends on it.
And now to the third party that will be involved in the negotiations between the BSCFA and BSI ESR. As we speak, the terms of reference for the mediator is being drafted out by both the miller and the association. Once the mediator is identified and hired, negotiations are expected to resume and hopefully lead to the signing of an agreement. But the clock is ticking and there is no time to waste, in sight that we are only 2 months away from the new crop season. Today, during their press conference, the BSCFA stated that if BSI would not have opposed to the intervention of a mediator as suggested by the association a long time ago, an agreement would probably already be in place.
That the BSCFA was the first one to brought up that of a mediator, so that we could have an agreement to meet the date before the next commencement of the next crop. From November from last year, we mentioned it to the PM, and we proposed it to BSI, so that the negotiation will go in a way peacefully and in good faith, and to not have any stalemate, so that we could have an agreement and finalize before the next crop. So I want to state that clear, that it was the BSCFA that brought up and put forward to BSI about this mediator. If we will go back in 2015, we brought a mediator to support us, but it was rejected by BSI ASR at that time. They didn't take his professional into consideration. And we requested it at government level in that time, when the government failed to provide that export, that technical that we was asking from back then. So now, to advance and to conclude an agreement before the next commencement of the next crop, we propose it to the PM and to this government, so that we could both sit down and don't have stalemates and finally sign an agreement before the next crop. That's why we propose that mediator to be present. And that was rejected at the time. At the time, no. The PM promised at that time to support us with a technical as an association, but then at the longer run, it was proposed for government to bring it in as a level of an industry to be within the two bodies, so that we could finally get to an agreement signed for the benefit of the industry and for the country.
Well, on the very first instance, when it was proposed by the BSCFA, it was rejected by BSI completely, that they are not prepared for a mediator to be in between, until about 2 weeks ago, that they sent in their documents that they are prepared now to have a mediator.
A joint operation at Caribbean International Brewery Company Limited on October 6 and 7, 2022 led to the detention of 8 Chinese nationals and the confiscation of $3.1 million. To date, both cases remain at the court level. The 8 Chinese nationals charged by Immigration Department for the failure to comply with visitors' permit are tonight out on bail and are expected back in court soon. And today, the owner of the beer company was hauled to court along with his fiancée to also answer to immigration charges. Elmer Cornejo reports.
Caribbean International Brewery Company Limited's owner, Kevin Zinn, appeared before Magistrate Deborah Rogers at the Orange Walk Magistrate Court this morning. He was there to answer to 9 charges brought against him for employing a person not in possession of an employment permit. Zinn is being accused of employing the 8 Chinese nationals that were detained by immigration on Thursday, October 7, when a raid was carried out at the beer company. Those individuals received a single charge each of failure to comply with visitors' permit and are tonight out on bail after pleading not guilty. The 9th charge was levied upon Zinn for employing his fiancée Liping Shu at the company. Shu accompanied Zinn to court today, but not to show him support. She is also facing a charge of her own. That's of failure to comply with the conditions of a visitor's permit. Shu holds a Canadian residency and is a regular visitor to Belize. She entered the country on September 30, 2022 to visit Zinn. Today in court, both accused were represented by attorneys Dicky Bradley and Marcel Cardona, whom the media spoke to after the proceeding.
This morning, I believe Ms. Lucy was charged with a similar offense to that of the previous, I believe, 8 previous workers that were brought in last week. And of course, Ms. Lucy is a lawful visitor in the country. She came in to visit her boyfriend, who happens to be the lawful owner of the brewing company. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing illegal in her traveling from abroad to come and visit her boyfriend here, right, to Belize. Now, it has made completely completely confused why it is that the authorities would have chosen to put a charge on her that she's working illegally in the country of Belize when she's not a worker. She is the fiancée of the lawful owner of the factory. She's here. She's here as his, at his request, as his lawful guest, and they charge her that she's somehow working for the company. So obviously, this is a clear example how the authorities have gone far and beyond to stretch the facts, to twist the facts, in fact, to twist it to suit their narrative. And that is something that I would like to make abundantly clear. That was brought to the court's attention. Unfortunately, thank God, the court exercised its common sense and discretion in the matter, and it decided that it agrees that how can you throw behind bars in jail on remand an individual who is given a charge like this one, a dummy charge, a fake charge, for want of a better word, a charge that obviously will more than likely not stand up the scrutiny of a court of law.
For their side, the Immigration Department is trying to prove that CIP strictly employs Chinese nationals. But Attorney Bradley argues that his client employs over 80 Belizeans, and he has no need to use the services of his fiancée as being accused of doing.
Big Boss is only charged because he is the owner of Caribbean Brewery. The charge is that some of the Chinese were workers. You can't charge the Chinese and make allegation that they are working, and then who have them working? Okay. So when the matter comes to trial, as Mr. Zing has said in his prepared statement and made an effort to say it in English, he's basically saying that his company employs more than 80 Belizeans. When the immigration went there, they found about a dozen Chinese nationals. And you know how some persons are prejudiced. They take all the Chinese and go with them. Who lawfully working, everybody is lawfully working. But I think Marcel is expressing, having spoken with Miss Li Ping, who is a permanent resident of Canada, who just came to Belize the end of September to visit her fiancé. Her passport, which the immigration has possession of, shows that she's a regular visitor. She not come here for work. You know, up and down all the way from Canada and America. He come work. And he's employing over 80 Belize people. He don't need to spend 10, 12,000 US dollars to bring a worker to Belize to work, because we look for work, we beg for work. If he give me a list and tell me I want 20 people right now, I bring 40 people from Belize City who will work at brewery and drink good mine beer. A mine is a terrible thing to waste. So we're making light, but I think if I understood the statement, what Mr. Kevin is saying, that he believes the justice system will show that nothing illegal had taken place.
Bradley intends to prove to the court that there is nothing illegal happening at the Carmelita-based beer company. In fact, he says his company chose Carmelita because of the proven quality of the water in the village.
Did you know that the water under Carmelita village is wanted by all the top water companies in the world? They want to get that water because the scientists have come and tested. It's pure, fresh, healthy mineral water. You don't want to drink anything out the river because they wash vehicle, they make the diesel get in there. Well, we're there at the correct place. No river is as messed up as this river that passes here. So I did not know that. I listened with my mouth open and saw the reports that the quality water in Carmelita, man, I hope Belize City don't have them thing there. Huh? So he believed when matter come to court, the evidence will not stand up. Caribbean International Brewery have no reason to break the law. No reason to have people working who don't have proper documentation. That is just so unfair. And we have particularly hurt it because Leaping, is, as my colleague has emotionally said to you, Leaping come visit the fiancé. How you, they're so eager for it. You know, I mean, like, they're so used to rounding up illegal people that they just round up all of you. If we're in America and we're black, then I round up all of we too, you know. And then we have to fight the way that we never cross the river. So the point he wants to make is he's here 20 years. He loved this country. He and family take all their investment and come put it in our country. And he believes at the end of the day, beliefs will show that he has done nothing wrong.
After listening to both sides, Magistrate Rogers offered Leaping Shoe bail at the sum of $7,500 plus two sureties of $3,750, which she met. Kevin Zinn's bail was set at $6,000 plus two sureties of $3,500, which he was also able to meet by midday today. Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
Both accused go back to court on November 30th, 2022. Since the raid was carried out 14 days ago at Caribbean International Brewery Company Limited, its owners have only made their position known via a statement describing the move as an unlawful attack. Caribbean International Brewery maintains that the $3.1 million seized by authorities were the proceeds of its sales, not usually kept at its premises, but nonetheless illegally seized in its view and irresponsibly publicized, putting lives in danger. That case continues in court with Dean Barrow representing the beer company and Godfrey Smith representing the FIU, who wants to retain the funds for 3 months until their investigation is complete. Barrow, on the other hand, argues that if the funds are not returned to his client, they run the risk of going bankrupt. To top it off, the owner of the company, Kevin Zinn, now faces 9 charges of employing a person not in possession of an employment permit. Today, after his hearing, Zinn read out a written statement to the media.
Okay. Good afternoon, my dear friends and of Bleeding. I'm from Caribbean International Brewery Company, and I want to tell you that we are always following the law. I'm Belgian, and I love Belize. I have invested my life saving with other Belgian investors to building the Caribbean International Brewery Company. We make a lot of work opportunity for over 80 Belgians and pay few millions tax to the government every year. We established the charity foundation to help the people and public institutions in need. I still believe that the law will give me and Caribbean International Brewery Company justice. I think Belize really need a better investment environment to attract, invest, and to help the new business and investor grow and develop. I will try my best to do what I can, keep the factory open, I think, because it's good for the region. Okay, thanks all for your concern and support for Caribbean International Brewery Company. Thanks.
Kevin Zinn has held Belizean nationality for 21 years. And we have more news after the break. Stay tuned.
What is Amnesty 2022? an opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
¿Quieres dinero rápido por tus prendas de oro? Entonces aprovecha de los grandes préstamos y empeños de oro en Monica's Pawn Shop. Nuestra baja tasa garantizada de solo el 10% en todas las joyas de empeño. Eso no es todo. También empeñamos televisores, compramos chatarra de oro y puede empeñar su vehículo y aún continuar conduciéndolo. Visite Monica's Pawn Shop en nuestra ubicación en Ciudad Belice, número 128 Cemetery Road, en Ciudad Belmopan, en el número 5 Garden Plaza y en el municipio de Orange Walk, en número 2 Belize Corozal Road. Llámenos al 207-0970 y obtenga más dinero por sus joyas de oro.
On October 17th, the Amex said Sembrando Vida grant contract was signed by Minister Jose Abelardo May, officially releasing funds amounting to $6 million to the Sembrando Vida project. The signing took place at the Centro Escolar Mexico Junior College Conference Room in San Román, Corozal. With the funds officially released, registration for the program is now being carried out for 2,000 Belizean farmers in the coming weeks. Today, the registration process took place in Orange Walk at the Yo Creek Agriculture Station. Here is that story.
Sembrando Vida is a project officially signed between the government of Belize and the government of Mexico on Monday, October 17, 2022. The project is to cost $6 million Belize dollars and is geared at assisting small farmers in all districts across the country. Today, a registration exercise was held at the Yo Creek Agriculture Station for farmers from the Orange Walk district.
El proceso de registro es la primera parte de después de un largo trabajo de consultas y de arreglo jurídico y económico entre nuestros dos países que se pusieron de acuerdo para traer este programa. Entonces, el proceso de registro es un proceso complejo porque necesitamos que cada uno de los agricultores que va a participar en el programa tengamos su foto, su identificación y estamos también recibiendo datos biométricos. Esto con la finalidad de asegurarnos y poder asegurar tanto a las autoridades de aquí de Belice como a nuestras autoridades en México que cada uno de los agricultores que está recibiendo el beneficio, digamos, existe, tiene su parcela en cierto lugar y digamos, es un agricultor verdadero. Pues es un asunto para auditoría para poder verificar a cada uno de los agricultores, ¿no? Entonces, si puedes ver, podemos señalar acá, tenemos a todos nuestros compañeros hablando con cada uno de ellos, haciéndoles preguntas desde asuntos demográficos, como desde la edad, si están casados, si tienen hijos, hasta asuntos ya más técnicos de cada una de sus parcelas. Entonces, por ejemplo, qué tipo de producción tienen, si son gente de milpa o de caña, y digamos más o menos cuáles son las cantidades de producción que hacen. Una vez que termine este proceso de registro, el siguiente paso es el proceso de validación.
2,000 small farmers will be the beneficiaries of the Sembrano Vida project, which is spearheaded by the Mexican International Agency for Cooperation and Development, AMEXID, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise. In order to become beneficiaries of the project, there are certain criteria that farmers must meet.
A good point you're asking, because as you know, in Belize, within the Ministry of Agriculture, we have like 3 different groups of farmers, what we consider the small farmer, and that's exactly the profile for this particular project. Those farmers that have between 0.5 to 5 acres. Then we would have the medium farmers, 5 acres to like 15, and then of course the bigger farmers, which are 25 to 100, 150, and 200. So for this particular project, we're looking at that small farmer to fit those criteria, and it's very important for our small farmers to be aware, and all those other farmers that meet these criteria. One, the project is for Belizean farmers. So what does our government consider for us to be a Belizean farmers as official? One, you need to have a validated passport, or 2, a validated social security card. Some of our farmers, a few of them are showing with expired documents, especially these 2. And right away, that is a very important criteria. And once you don't have that, it will be very difficult for the process to continue, because it catches right away that the document is not valid. 2, you need to be registered within the Ministry of Agriculture Management Information System that we refer to as BIMS. So you need to be a registered farmer. And then finally, you need to also be growing one of the 4 categories within the agriculture, which is vegetables, fruit trees or forest trees, as well as fruits, forest trees, vegetables, and grains. And within grains, we're looking at the 3 basic grains: corn, rice, and beans. So those 4 categories within the 0.5 to 5 acres, being a Belizean and being registered, very important for our farmers to be aware of that and having some form of land document as proof showing that yes, they are indeed working that particular piece of land within that acreage.
AMEXID representative Emilio Montero says that now that the project has officially started, project extension officers will be hired to offer technical assistance to those selected.
Luego empieza el proceso de validación, que se hará en los siguientes meses, que es lo que te comentaba, y una vez que esté hecho el proceso de validación, ya empiezan ya las entregas de insumos. El proyecto trae 3 tipos de insumos. El primero es un apoyo técnico. Entonces, a cada uno de los agricultores se le asigna, como te decía, un extension officer que va a ir a visitarlo a su parcela, validar que tenga la parcela donde nos dijo que la tenía. Una vez que ya queda aprobado, ese mismo extensionista, extension officer, le va a hacer un programa de trabajo al agricultor de 8 meses, que es la duración que tenemos hasta ahorita del proyecto, para que trabaje en las necesidades particulares del agricultor. Es decir, el agricultor puede tener una variedad de cultivos. Aquí tienes gente que tiene quizá mucha caña y otro cachito de hortaliza, por ejemplo, ¿no? Otros que son totalmente de milpa, ¿no? Entonces el extensionista va a ir a la tierra de cada una de estas personas y con los cultivos que ya tiene, preparar un plan de trabajo para el mejoramiento y aprovechamiento de su tierra, también para poder lidiar con distintas técnicas contra las plagas y para poderse volver más resilientes contra los efectos del cambio climático, por ejemplo, o del clima, que siempre es complicado para los agricultores.
The Sembrando Vida project is expected to last 8 months. If you are a small farmer and want to be part of the project, you can visit the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise Facebook page for more detailed information, or you can visit the Yo Creek Agriculture Station tomorrow as the registration continues. Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
The Sembrando Vida program is an initiative by the Mexican government. The project has rolled out in Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador with great success. A pocket central nucleic acid analyzer machine was handed over to the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise during a short ceremony held in Belmopan today. Taiwanese company GeneReach Biotechnology Corporation donated the machine, which was handed over by Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan, His Excellency David Ko Cho Chen.
I'm very pleased to hand over the pocket central nucleic acid analyzer machine, which is donated by the Taiwanese company named GeneReach Biotechnology Corporation to the Ministry of Agriculture. The machine is used for PCR tests to detect various types of diseases such as African swine flu. Also, I thank Taiwan ICDF for donating some test kits for this machine to the government of Belize.
The Pocket Central Nucleic Acid Machine is a PCR testing machine that will be used to detect animal diseases such as African swine fever. Receiving the donation was Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Jose Abelardo May, and handed over was Ambassador David Chen.
This donation essentially is PCR equipment donated by the Republic of China, Taiwan. It is used to identify viruses affecting animals. So it is an animal health equipment for our lab in Central Farm. As you know, PCR technology is used to identify viruses. With the nearness of African swine fever in the region, there's great concern for monitoring surveillance and to identify diseases in a very short time so that you can react. African swine fever is a very deadly disease to pigs. I think a year and a half ago, China had an outbreak, and they had to eliminate 50%. They're the largest producers of pigs in the world and the largest consumers. So you can imagine what that led to was that a spike in the demand for soybean and corn to China. So when they started biopoly, corn and soybean, the price automatically went up. It just showed you the impact that a certain disease can have in a country. So we have to keep that disease out, and God forbid we ever had it here, but if we have it, then we have to determine quickly the presence of the disease, the virus, and try to act immediately. So this equipment is of critical importance to us. It is a great benefit to our animal health team at Baja.
Present at the handing over was also Managing Director of Baja, Zoe Zatina. Cabinet met for its regular session on Tuesday and receiving an update from the Minister of Education on the CDB Belize Education Sector Reform Program 2. The program is entering a new phase which will see the construction and retrofitting of 27 schools across the country. Importantly, this phase of the program will include the rehabilitation and retrofitting of Stella Maris School and the Leo Bradley and Turton Libraries in Belize City. Cabinet also reviewed the approved work program for 2022-2023 and accepted 2 concept notes for the development of project proposals through the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, for the education and energy sectors. During Tuesday's session, Cabinet also received an update from the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance on the plan for the transformation and modernization to a digital government. The National Digital Agenda is part of the government's commitment to becoming a more open, efficient, and effective government and is in partial fulfillment of Plan Belize. The Supplementary Capital 2 budget appropriations for 734,000 Belize dollars to support the work of DEMO through its operations center to replace materials and supplies critical to its efforts during national emergencies was also approved. As part of the broader U.S.-Belize security cooperation that promotes both national and regional peace and stability, the U.S. Embassy today donated 5 military trucks to the Belize Defense Force, BDF. The vehicles are a donation through the United States Foreign Military Financing Program, a U.S. Department of Defense tool that enables partner countries to improve defense capabilities and contribute towards common security goals. This $625,000 US donation will enhance the BDF's capacity to transport troops and supplies throughout Belize, respond to natural disasters, and participate in international military exercises. Today's donation follows a previous donation of 6 military trucks to Belize in 2020. Speaking at today's donation ceremony, U.S. Embassy Charge d'Affaires Leila Moses once noted, national security is only possible with robust mobility platforms, and we are pleased to continue our assistance to Belize on this front. As our interoperability and security cooperation grow, Belize is a stronger partner in the region, a partner that can effectively respond to destabilizing events, whether it be transnational, criminal activities, or natural disasters. Readiness is both a mission set and a mindset. We are proud to support an expansion of BDF capability and capacity. Minister of National Defense and Border Security, Honorable Florencio Marin Jr., stated, "We are grateful to the United States of America for the great partnership that has coexisted with Belize. This has forged many tangible results of the genuine engagements between the defense and security organizations of both countries. Each year, the Belize Defense Force, through the Ministry of National Defense and Border Security, capitalizes on funding, training, and equipment from the United States. These trucks will complement the proactive effort to deploy troops rapidly across the country. The United States remains committed to partnering with Belize in support of its national security and its role in regional stability. Through the Foreign Military Financing Program, the United States is donating an estimated $1.6 million US in security aid to Belize in 2020. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, October 21st, here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.